So back in the summer, before I started college and before I moved out, um, I always thought that once I moved out and once I started my life again, maybe I'd be able to move on from all the things that have happened over the past couple of years. And to an extent I have been able to, but to an extent it's just caused new problems. And one of them is socialising. I've never been diagnosed with any sort of social anxiety, but I don't know, I have a feeling that it might be in there somewhere. For those of you who don't know, after I stopped talking to all my friends and we mutually decided that we weren't going to hang out together anymore, because because of everything really, I didn't have a social life for about a year, not a proper one anyway. Every day at school I wouldn't talk to anybody because I didn't have to and nobody was talking to me, so why? It's a complicated thing to understand, but basically I didn't socialise with people like I normally would have done. And this happened for a whole year, and because of the sort of isolation that I experienced for a whole year of my life, now that I have been thrown into normality, I'm finding it very, very hard to act normal. I was in a voice class because I go to a performing arts college and we have voice classes. And somebody mentioned that when I talk to people, I tend not to look them in the eye. And I've never really noticed that before, but my eyes do wander around and they go anywhere apart from the own person's eyes, and I find that when I do actually look people in the eye and talk to them, I find it really uncomfortable and really quite awkward. And I never thought about it before, but when I put my psychologist's hat on, I can sort of think, well, maybe that's because I'm not used to talking to people. I shut down, I put my guard up against people because I don't trust them properly. And in the same sort of way, I have difficulty maintaining conversations with people. Like, I can't instigate topics. I can answer questions that people ask me. I can comment on things that other people have talked about, but I find it difficult to actually sort of continue a conversation on my own. I knew that it was going to be a problem socialising, like going out and things, in the first few weeks. And I spoke about it with the welfare people at college, like they have people that you can go and talk to if you have a problem. And I just told her everything, like why it is, and she put me in touch with a counsellor type person. And yesterday I had my telephone consultation, like they call you up and you just basically tell them everything that you would in a normal psychological assessment, but over the phone because it's easier. And it wasn't the nicest conversation, particularly because this man had a very, very thick accent and I couldn't always understand what he was saying, which just made it more uncomfortable for me. But yeah, I basically sort of just established that what I really, really need to work on, the reason why I am going back to counselling, is so that I can socialise properly. Because as far as the depression and anxiety is, it is better because I don't have as much time to think about it anymore. Simple as that. But the fact that my bullying experiences have isolated me socially for a year is still a huge, huge problem. I've never been one to go out, like partying. I've never wanted to do that. But there's a fine line between the personality traits stopping me from doing that and the social fear. And I do find that simple things like inviting people over to my house, going to other people's houses, going out for dinner, it makes me nervous, it makes me quite anxious. And I can't instigate it myself, as I said about the conversation thing. I have to wait for like my roommate to say, oh, let's get this person over, or let's go over this person's house. And I think it's just because I've had bad experiences in the past as well with drunken parties, and it's just not really my thing at all. So I get worried when I get invited to those sort of things, and I tend to only sort of take a deep breath and go if it's maybe on a night before college, so we couldn't stay very late and couldn't get drunk, basically. Big parties in town, it's just like big nights out. As much as I would love to go, and I'd love to be able to go so I can get to know my peers better, the people at college, I don't see that happening in the near future at all. I'd love it to be able to, but it's not in my personality to start with, but I don't think I could actually deal with it. Like, when I get invited out, I actually panic. It makes me very upset. It puts me in a very bad mood for the rest of the day, because I know that I'm going to have to somehow say no. And I know that the longer I leave it until I tell people the truth, the longer, then the worse they're going to think of me. I already know that people were talking about me the other day, saying, oh, we just need to get her out of her shell a bit and get her really drunk. That really worries me, because A, I don't want to get drunk, B, I can't get drunk because of the medication I'm on, and C, it means that already they're noticing that socially I'm not very good at it. But I think that if maybe I'm in counselling, and if I can tell people, if I can actually get up the courage to tell people that I'm in counselling for it, then they can see that it's actually a real problem, as opposed to me just being a bit boring. I suppose the ultimate goal for me would eventually to be able to go out for the odd night out, go out to meals with people without feeling that fear, because I can go, but with the exception of big nights out and parties, that's the only thing I can't deal with. I can go out, but it really worries me, and I don't want it to worry me. I want to be looking forward to it and excited for it, you know? I'm never going to be the sort of person to be going out every night of the week, or even every weekend, but I just want to be able to go out enough, to socialise enough with people so that they know that I'm not weird and boring. Yeah, that's basically it. That's all I really wanted to say. Yeah, I feel like there's something else I should say, but I don't think there is. I'm just a bit sort of... I get frustrated with myself because I feel like I should be going out to places. I feel like I'm not normal by not wanting to, and I feel like other people don't think that I'm normal by not going. But hopefully that's what the counselling will sort out, and I just have to remember that I don't have to force myself to go out on big nights out straight away. I've only been in college 5 weeks, for God's sake. And as long as I'm taking steps to get to where I want to be, then that's sort of enough. Anyway, I'm going to go now. See ya.